handle the truth.
When you put cameras right in our face, we really don't know what to say.
I'm supposed to say something?
Ain't got nothing to say.
Come talk to me today.
Be smart what you say.
You want me to say something?
I got the mic.
I got nothing funny to say.
I don't either.
I'm not Brett Favre.
Sorry to let them down.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. It's a game. It's a game out here I want to play in.
So someday with experience, we'll have something funny to say.
Pull out your recorders and hide your children's eyes. You're about to enter the afternoon locker room.
First down, they'll slam it with Mason up left tackle, bounces back 15, 20, 25, 30 up the middle, 40. He's to midfield, he is chased at the 40, down the sideline, 30, 20, 10, 5, 89-yard touchdown run by Trey Mason. And it's all Rams here in the first half against the Oakland Raiders.
Wow. 101 ESPN in St. Louis with that call as Trey Mason runs back one of the biggest runs in the history of the Rams franchise. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's had an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving as we bring you again another edition of the Afternoon Locker Room presented by Gigahertz, the official computer solutions provider for the Arena Sports Network. Alvin Washington in the building. Glad to be on our brand new streaming home, Spreaker.com. Man, did they give us tools or what? Good gracious. I don't think I've seen this much fun stuff since actually stepping into radio about almost 25 years ago. But, you know, you do what you do. How's everybody doing? Give me your boy a call because I want to hear from you, America. 573-200-6505. That's how you get in touch with your boy. And we do that there like that, man. Also, tweet us at ASN Plus, which is probably where you're picking up the brand new live stream now. You can also go to the Afternoon Locker Room as well on Facebook. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff to get to. One of the big things we want to talk about today is the interesting stance as we started the show with said St. Louis Rams is the stance made by 5 particular gentlemen during the pregame show or the pregame what you have it the pregame introductions and all that. 5 guys came out hands up. Interesting. And somebody's not too pleased about that. I mean, really, really not pleased. So I tell you, this is going to be one of those interesting situations where the kettle calls the pot black, if you know what I mean. The NFL has already said they're not going to do anything about it. But we'll get into all of that in just a little bit. Another thing, for those of you who didn't get a chance to catch it over the weekend, Janay Rice, the now wife of embattled and deposed running back Ray Rice, who just recently was reinstated by arbitration to the National Football League after spending most of the season on the sidelines, was only, of course, supposed to give a two-game suspension. That wound up being indefinite. Arbitrator says, nah, this was double jeopardy. Let the man have his job back. Janay Rice made some interesting comments that are not sitting too well with a few ladies, as it were. We'll get into all of that, too. Very revealing interview by one Jamel Hill of ESPN. That and much more. However, we do start on a rather somber note. The young man who was missing from Ohio State University's football team has unfortunately perished, and it looks like it is at his own hands. I have the feeling that this young man whose name is Costa Karageorge, may have shot himself in the same way that most of the pro football players who have committed suicide shot themselves, and that is away from his brain. Interesting to say. We get more on the story from ESPN Big Ten reporter Austin Ward.
Columbus police spokesman met with the media later this evening. He said that the timeline, they received a call about 2:30 about a man, a body, and a dumpster that was close to his apartment. Several different elements of the Columbus Police Department arrived at the scene to investigate. They were able to identify Karageorge's body by the tattoos on him.
This is, wow. I tell you, at a time that Ohio State was coming out of its doldrums and coming off of an undefeated season that did not allow them to go to a postseason game, now they're on the verge of a Big Ten championship. This is one of two double whammies that they've got, because not only did they lose this young man to an unfortunate, what is still not being called a suicide, but he's the only one that probably did this, although his body in a dumpster, that's another story. Interesting. Have to explore that angle. Not only do you lose him, JT Barrett goes down during the course of the game, which was a 42-24 victory over Michigan in Columbus. JT Barrett goes down with a really ugly leg injury. He's done for the season. So now you've got a third-string quarterback going into the Big Ten championship against a very hungry Wisconsin team that is, they are seething mad, boy. They want them some Buckeye meat for sure. What hangs in the balance for Ohio State is an opportunity to help the Big Ten represent itself at the first ever college football playoff. Couple of problems. Baylor and TCU stand in the way. Or more succinctly, TCU. I honestly think Baylor should be at that spot right now, for the simple fact, head-to-head. If you can't see head-to-head between Baylor and TCU playing the same schedule in the same conference, that means something's wrong with the committee. Head-to-head is one of the most basic tiebreakers you use out there. You mean to tell me you can't see that close to you? That simple? Baylor should be number 4. If you're putting Baylor and TCU next to each other for the number 4 spot, Baylor, by virtue of head-to-head over TCU, should get that spot. Because of that, because if we're going to look at eye tests, heck, let's bring back the computers. They may be a little bit impersonal, but at least they give you a much fairer shake than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of, wait a minute, wait. We got everybody want to try and jump in on this. Hold on. Afternoon locker room, yes.
You mentioned something about Baylor, and Baylor is getting played to the left, as we used to say, because they beat TCU head-to-head, like you said, and they are not getting the recognition. They are not getting the spot that they deserve in that playoff.
Ah, I see. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Snow, Snowman in the Morning, joining us here on the Verizon Wireless Hotline, Verizon, and the cellular connection to Michigan City, helping you connect to America's most reliable 4G LTE network. As we're talking a little bit of the headlines here in this opening edition of the Afternoon Locker Room presented by Gigahertz. But yeah, you look at the resumes of TCU and Baylor. Granted, they've got them ahead of Ohio State, understandably so. Baylor, I just on again on basis of head-to-head, Baylor should get the number 4 spot. I don't care what eye test you've done. Baylor and TCU play in the same conference, play literally the same schedule, because their entire schedule is everybody in the conference. Duh.
You know something? You know something? Baylor has not been getting a fair shake all season since the first playoff poll has come out. They don't want to look at the fact that Baylor raced back from 24 points down in the final 10 minutes of that game against TCU to register a 61-58 victory. They don't look at that game. They don't look at the head-to-head. And if you think about it, Ben, since the playoff polls have come out, Baylor has not appeared once, even with that head-to-head victory.
You know, and again, I'm like, if it's all about the eye test and shoot, Florida State should have been going a long time ago. One problem. They're undefeated, and they're the defending national champion. You have them number 3.
Something wrong with that picture. Because if Florida State's undefeated, and this is me thinking old school, Florida State is the only one that's in the top 4 right now. We're talking about the playoff. That's undefeated. Why don't they get the top spot? And for that matter, where the hell did Alabama come from yet again?
See, nobody wants to admit that they're on this committee. There's some serious SEC bias going on. But things are evening themselves out this week because we definitely know for a fact Mississippi State is gone. Ole Miss took care of that.
Mississippi State is out. Mississippi also is eliminated, so we won't see those two. And, you know, sad thing for Mississippi State, but they got outplayed against Alabama. They got outplayed in the Egg Bowl. So Mississippi State will not appear back in the top 4.
You know, and you know that's a fair eliminator. I can dig that. Suffice it to say, we will see 4 different conference representatives. The question is, which 4? It looks like the SEC will be one unless Mizzou can knock off Alabama in the conference championship this Saturday in Atlanta.
Saturday at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta.
Oregon. Oregon's going to take on Arizona. They could get knocked out.
You know what? That's a twofold situation. Because if Arizona repeats the performance that they had in Corvallis some 7 weeks ago, not only could Oregon get knocked out, but Arizona could get in.
And that's a very strong possibility as well. Third one, of course, we mentioned Florida State. They've got Georgia Tech to deal with in the ACC title game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is going to be a really hard 24-hour turnaround for the selection committee to deal with.
This is the weekend that I feel makes or breaks the top 4, because we mentioned 3 of the teams that are there already. The 2 most intriguing matchups are the 2 that we've talked about already. Oregon and Arizona, and I believe that's in Eugene. I'll need to look that up.
No, that's
Florida State and Georgia Tech.
No, the Pac-12 championship is at Levi Stadium this year.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Neutral site. So it's in Northern California.
Oh yeah.
I have the distinct feeling, and I'll do this later in the week. But as of right now, my gut feeling says Arizona does it again.
You never know. You never know.
But I'm not counting out Mariota either. You can't.
Well, no, not at this particular juncture.
No.
I tell you what, don't move. Let's take a short break. All
right.
When we come back, we'll take a look at well, not that. But,
what are we looking at?
We'll take a look at a few other things, but I really do want to get to the situation with the St. Louis Rams. That's one of 2 things that we're going to look at today. We potentially could hear from